I didn't know what to expect when I hopped on the CFMOTO 450 SR. It is a newcomer in the entry-level sport bike scene in Malaysia, but being in the 400cc range meant that it is a kind of neither here nor there motorcycle. But looking at it a little closer, I was immediately surprised. For less than 30,000 ringgit, this thing is pretty well spec'd. The cockpit and controls feel well made and tactile, and when I flicked on the screen, I could have sworn the TFT LCD came straight off an S1000RR.
Wow. It's like a freaking BMW, man. It's really like freaking BMW. With the text goes.
It even looks better than my Street Triple screen, and I am a little bit annoyed. The rest of the bike also looks the part of an upmarket little pocket rocket. You get gold upside down forks, a big Brembo caliper, and a bunch of little winglets peppered around the frankly handsome looking body. But if you look a little closer, you will start to notice a couple of things. While you get a nice Brembo caliper at the wheel, the master cylinder is an axial pull in-house one from CFMOTO. And while the gold forks look really nice and expensive, they are not adjustable. So you can tell that at least some of this was done to look good on a brochure.
Is there no rear removability? How can we cut the rear? There it is. Yeah, you don't get any space. You do get one Allen key, and that's it. That's all you get.
Although I think that the rider triangle does strike a nice balance between comfort and a sporty riding feel, it is still a little sport bike, so I wouldn't expect a whole lot of practicality, especially coming from a passenger carrying perspective. That rear seat is so stiff. That said, when I swung a leg over it to take it for a spin, I was anything but disappointed. The CFMOTO 450 SR is powered by a 450cc parallel twin, which means that it doesn't make a whole lot of power. It is rated for just under 50 horsepower at 9500 RPM and 39 Nm of torque at 7600 RPM. In other words, the bike feels really nice and perky in the low to mid range, but there's almost nothing left in the top end. I wouldn't call it a slow bike, but it's probably not for you if the first question you ask when looking at a bike is, berapa top speed? What I liked most about riding this bike is the way it handles. Now, this demo bike has seen a ton of abuse. Its tires have been absolutely munched by track riding, so I was more than a little hesitant to give it any kind of beans. But on the road, all of that concern left me the moment I leaned into the first corner. The simplest way I could describe the way this bike handles is that it feels like it was set up to handle way more power and speed than it has. And all that shade I threw at it for not having fancy branded brake master cylinders or fully adjustable suspension components, well, whatever they have on here, it totally works. Even on the beat up tires, this bike felt planted and confidence inspiring. Like, it felt like it would take a monumental fuck up from me to send it astray. And I like that feeling. And while the engine doesn't make a lot of power, its 270-degree crank means that it makes a lot of beautiful noises. That is just on the stock pipe. So while the 450 SR wasn't on my radar before this, I think that as a package, it's a pretty great second or starter bike. Plus, I mean, there's really not much else in this category that sounds as good as it does. Well, actually, there is one bike that might sound better.